Hey,
Hey!
we are live.
We are live. It's
Welcome.
Game Club. Game Club.
Game Club. Game
Game
Club.
Club. We're here. It's
Adam,
Game Club night. Yes.
I've beat 2 video games in the past 2 months, and that is more than probably in the past year.
You are super productive, Lucas. I have
I
also
know.
done the same, and I feel really good about it.
I do too. So, welcome to Geekward Game Club, everybody. Tonight we're going to talk about Ori and the Blind Forest.
Yes.
So
Ori and the
chime
Blind
in.
Forest.
Let us know you're here in the comments. We
Yeah.
are on what, Adam? Where are we streaming to right now?
We are on Facebook. We are on YouTube. We are on Twitch. We're everywhere you want to be. Just like whatever credit card slogan that was.
I don't know which one that is.
And I have ketchup on my pants. So
And I have massive glasses glare.
So do I.
It's all good. Like, I don't have an eye. I look like a cyborg. But
Michael's here.
Michael, The Rock.
Joe
Good
can't
evening.
say, but he wants to say hi. So hi, Joe. And he's
Joe.
looking for the next game. Vicky's here. Woo!
Hey, Vicky. What's up?
Woo! So all these people watching on Facebook, how's it going?
How's
Should we
doing?
jump in? Ori and the Blind Forest.
Ori
We
and the Blind
we
Forest.
played it. Dan's here. What's up, Dan?
What's up, Dan?
Ori and the Blind Forest.
Dan, are you the only one in the Lafferty house that played this month? I'm kind of curious because this was there were some difficult moments in this game.
Yes,
Was
it was a
pants,
requirement.
yes, it's a requirement. I have bug spray on. I smell. I didn't get a chance to shower before, so I feel icky.
Nah, you didn't fail, Dan.
Hey, you didn't fail, man. It's all good. It is all
Mike
good.
is here.
What's up, Mike? There's
Mr.
Mike's the
Mr.
100%er this time. He's the one killing it this round.
Joe, thanks for hopping in. We'll see you soon, buddy.
Talk to you tomorrow, maybe, Joe. I don't think you read 100,000 Kingdom, but you're always welcome.
Yeah. Vicky hasn't finished either. It's all good.
It's all good.
All
Because we're
good.
going to spoil the whole thing for you.
Nah, there's nothing really to spoil.
No,
about
there's
Ori and the Blind Forest.
So, Adam, overall take? Like,
So I got to preface this, and I
Okay.
think that Ori and the Blind Forest reaffirmed
both.
my Metroidvanias in general are not really my kind of game.
Mm.
And I don't know why that is. I don't know why that sort of side-scrolling exploration, unlocking new areas with new abilities, and
Yep.
there's something frustrating about like seeing something
And not being able to get it.
I know that I'm going to be able to get up there later, but am I going to want to? Am I going to want to I know I'm going to move on from this place. I know I'm going to go to some other place. I'm going to go to Brinstar. But am I going to want to come back and find out what's up there? Is it worth it? I don't know. There's something about that type of exploration. Vicky watched a Let's Play, so that's cool.
Oh, nice.
That I just don't. I don't know. Like, I love Super Metroid, but I don't really get into Metroidvanias that often, and it takes a lot for me to finish one, which says something about Ori and the Blind Forest because I did finish it, and mostly because of the Game Club. There were times where I was like, I've experienced.
I've played enough.
I have experienced Ori and the Blind Forest, and I'm better for it. And there were times where I could just not finish, but I pushed through. I love platformers. Vicky says it's a pretty game, but I'm not a platformer type. I like platformers. I like Mario. Big Mario fan.
Yes.
Big Mario fan.
Big Mario fan.
But Metroidvanias generally aren't my style of game. But that being said, this game was a delightful assault on the visual and auditory senses.
Yes.
It was a beautiful game.
I mean, I think if you want to. Oh wait, don't cue it up yet. But I do have some footage, everybody. But I mean, Adam, if you want to kick it over,
Whoop.
I mean, from the start,
Yeah.
right? I felt like I was in a Cirque du Soleil production. Like it does. It's got that audio and visual. It's like if you've been to a Cirque du Soleil show, if they still have them in the future. Even they do such a good job before the show starts immersing you in the world. So you can kick it back, Adam.
Matt Michael said he had trouble looking at it at first, the blur on the character. I agree. There were some times where it was a little hard for me to discern what was happening visually. Um, Vicky says atmosphere can make or break a game, and that's definitely true. In this game, and I don't know why. I don't know why I felt this way. I felt it was beautiful. I felt the music was beautiful, but there were parts of it that kind of felt a little cliche for what it was trying to be. Like, and I don't know. I can't really put a finger on it. Like, I appreciated it, but the music seemed really. Oh, hey, Dan. The intro with the echoing narration, the words fading in out, chilling. Yeah, no, I agree with all of that. But there was something kind of like I've heard this before and I've seen this attempted before. It reminded me a lot of, especially with that character that becomes your sort of like adopted parent, like a Miyazaki film. Like it had a lot of elements of like that type of, especially in the story, which was a bit nonsensical,
right?
But like also mystical and chilling and everything Dan said there.
I agree though, Dan. I mean, it definitely captures your interest right off the bat, and even if you don't finish the game or get too far into it, I think everyone could admit that it at least hooks you from the get go.
Yeah, I was very interested in like experiencing it, especially at first with all of the magic and the beauty of it. Do I think this game is meant to appeal to a certain age group? That's a good question. Do you?
Yeah, what do you think, Vicky?
I don't know. I didn't do a lot of research in terms of like the targeting of, what this game, who this game is targeted for. I could see it appealing. I could see it having a broad appeal. I mean, I liked it. And I didn't find it too simple in terms of gameplay. Like I felt like there was a complexity to it. Obviously going right along the lines of a metroidvania, and that like you're going to unlock new abilities, and these new abilities are going to help you find new areas to explore, and they're going to help you beat enemies better as you go.
Yeah, and I will say to that, Vicky, like I thought about my kids playing some of it, but I think the difficulty is too tough in spots. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking less of people's abilities, but like I really struggled in parts, and I know my kids who don't play as many games or have played nearly as many games would have struggled. What did Dan say?
Yeah, he gets frustrated when it comes to just wanting to move on and having to do the same thing over and over until you get it right in order to do so. And overall, you're not going to like Celeste if that's the ends up being the winner. I definitely, there were definitely some parts of this game where I experienced frustration.
Yeah,
and
okay. I think you're right with the broad appeal, but not for younger kids. I agree. I think they did a good job, but if I had bought this thinking it was a game for kids and handed it to my kids, they would have dumped it and gone straight back to Minecraft or something, because they would have gotten to one of those parts where they felt like they were getting somewhere, they'd gotten some abilities, but I think it's kind of too tough. And when I think the first time I died, I was like, oh, damn it, I died. Because I saw that there was the setting for one life. So I was like, oh, okay, so you could beat this game on one life. Adam, do you know how many times you died in this game?
Does it say? I don't off the top of my head, but it was a lot.
I died like over 330 some times. If you can beat this game on one life, I mean, you're baller.
Oh yeah. I mean, you have to have like the muscle memory down.
Dan, that's what I was wondering if Wesley, because Wesley really got into our last game, Wander Song, and I was wondering if the difficulty ramp up was going to be a hindrance for a lot of people.
Yeah, and it wouldn't say necessarily a ramp up, but like certain spikes.
Yeah,
I need to go back and look at my count. I'll need to go in the other room, but I don't. maybe I'll post it or something. But it was a lot. I can say for sure, like definitively, it was a lot. And while it allowed you to save any time basically, as long as you had some of that energy to
Yep.
craft the fire. There were times where I just forgot, and then I would die. I would fall into some spikes, and the things that this is what I appreciate about like games. Oh, Mike died 463 times.
Well, he did get 100%. I'll give you a little bit of a leeway there.
But like the games like Mario and Mega Man, or Mega Man, for example, when you hit the spikes, insta death. Mario, you hit the lava, or you hit like spikes or something like that, and it maybe shrinks you, and you can still sort of run around while you got the invulnerability frames, the flashy frames. This game, one of the most frustrating parts about it was falling into the spikes and just having to wait to die
because you can't
get back out. You fall in, and it's like, and you're just like, I got full health, but there's no way I can get out of this.
So Michael had a good point about the spots where. So you have to go and unlock these different, not dungeons, but different areas to save the tree, right? And so I've got a clip, Adam, of my. It's not the Deku tree, but it's whatever the
tree of life or whatever.
The tree of life, and I have to admit, like these were my favorite moments and my least favorite moments. So I've got a clip going. Of my playthrough, because they were so awesome, but at the same time, I hated them so much because I knew what I had to do, but I couldn't do it, or I'd get really far, and then I would hit that stumbling point where I would keep dying at the same spot or revert back, and they were really cool, and it's kind of like. They ramped it up to where you're getting this ability and you're kind of learning how to use the ability, and then once you unlock the temple or whatnot, for a better term, it puts you in this time race against getting out of the temple, and I hate timed things so much.
Okay, so yeah, let's talk about that, because I would say those were some of my favorite parts of the game. Also, saying I hate like, and I always go back to Metroid. Metroid is there. You can't be a Metroid game without some like, oh crap, the place is blowing up and you have to escape. And that's what, like, after every sort of major point, like where you collect the thing and you finish, it's just like 3, you beat the boss and you restore the whatever. Then it becomes a race against time to escape.
Right.
And there were like sort of 3 major things. And Mike's talking about the last weekend in the volcano. Yes, that took me forever with the big bird. It was like, for one thing though, like it was very well done. In that, like, especially when you're first trying to get through it and you realize that, like, oh, I gotta get moving or this bird's gonna get me. And you hit certain spots where like the bird comes down and like knocks
that was
down.
really cool.
Like, it was really cool. But yeah, it took me a lot of times. That sucks that your game froze though.
I've got a clip of that up, Adam, if you want to cut to it.
You're not sharing your screen though.
Oh, I'm not sharing my screen, derp.
But yeah, like those moments were. There he goes. Oh,
when the owl comes in and when you're coming out of the shrouded forest and that whole section where you're sneaking and trying to get by the owl, like that was really cool.
Yeah.
I love those moments, but yeah, super frustrating. Like I know I die. Like I didn't know what exactly I had to do here. And
that point right there, I had no idea what to do for the longest time. I didn't realize that there was air coming out from the bottom.
Yeah, no, exactly. I didn't either. So I
was trying to do the thing where you like freeze a bullet and then like shoot on the the boulders that were falling down.
Exactly.
I tried everything, and then like I guess I just sort of opened my my parachute, the feather, and it took me up, and I was like,
Oh
oh,
yeah, I did like this ability. I don't even know what to call it, but I
I love that.
but I never unlocked dash, and I was really frustrated by that because I thought my controller was broken. Because when you look at the map of the controller, and I play on an Xbox controller on PC, and it says dash, and so I thought I could dash, and I didn't unlock two of the abilities.
Oh my god!
But,
I didn't get anywhere near through the skill tree, but oh no, the bird's gonna get you, Lucas.
I know it does. Watch
right
here. Yeah, good times.
But this was it was an incredible sequence, but I had to replay it over and over again, and it was that muscle memory, like Mike was talking about, like the muscle memory kicks in. And like eventually, like I was breezing my way through it until I would get to the next section. I would have to start over with like
like that. I stupid mistake, and then all of a sudden you bite it, right?
Yeah, but those sequences to me like sort of were good, like break in the action, and that I knew what I had to do.
Right,
I had to get out. It was intense. I definitely felt the intensity of those sequences, which
music
was nice.
Ramps up.
Especially with the bird at the end, the big bird. That it was so scary.
Yeah, I
the
really
music was amazing.
The music was amazing. Those were again my favorite parts and my most frequently hated parts. Hey, Emoto, welcome. So we're talking about the level of frustration with the escape sequences. So after you activate the dungeon, for lack of a better term, and you're having to use your new abilities to escape, how great they are, but how equally frustrating.
Yeah, dying, rinsing, and repeating like the sequence until your muscle memory kicks in to the point where you can just sort of breeze through it, like at the end with the volcano. And like there was one where you're like you have to use the feather to go up.
Yep.
Air dash was one of the first abilities. The air dash came in handy a lot. I unlocked dash and air dash.
So I thought air dash would be super handy, and I unlocked it, but then I didn't. I don't know. Maybe my controller is jacked up because I cannot air dash. But you can beat the game without dash or air dash. I'll just make that known.
Well, let's talk about the abilities that you unlock, because Ori, on Ori's journey, unlocks a slew of abilities. Which ones did you like and which ones did you not like so much? Did you like them all?
So you've got let me pull this. I'm going to pull this up.
My favorite was the one we were talking about, where you get to you like freeze the bullets, or you freeze, and then you have to point in direction, and the other thing goes the other direction.
Yeah, that was a really unique. I mean, you talk about a lot of the things were, in traditional Metroidvanias, and you defined it pretty well, Adam. You're collecting abilities to unlock new areas of the map. You're backtracking and whatnot. There's traditionally like something that makes you go faster, something that makes you jump higher. So I was expecting some of those, right? Because it's like, okay, I know I can't get to this point, but I know I'll probably unlock something. But I'm with you. I think, and I don't know what the technical term for that ability is, but that was something unique that I hadn't seen before in a game, and there were some really cool ways that you could use it both offensively, defensively, and to just navigate, right? So I think it was a pretty useful, kind of innovative ability.
Yeah, very innovative, and you had to calculate not only where the thing was going to go, but where you were going to go, because there's like that sort of equal opposite reaction that takes place. Like
you can go spikes.
Yeah, if you're gonna take that roly boulder guy and you're gonna try to shoot him up there, where are you gonna go? And there were lots of sequences that used that ability to try to like not die.
Yeah.
Whether it's figuring it out as you're like basically like in this diagonal corridor of nothing but spikes, and then the little alligator guy comes out of the ground and shoots the thing. You're like, oh, I should probably grab onto his spit and
Or
Right.
you try to go to that section before you even have any idea what's going on, and you get stuck there for 30 or 45 minutes being like, this game is broken. I cannot get past this part.
Yep.
Oh.
Now here's the thing that if I'm remembering this right, I played on Game Pass, which is the definitive edition.
Yes.
The definitive edition added the ability to fast travel. Can you imagine what this game would be like without that ability?
Oh, that's horrible, because I mean, if you're in one of those dungeons and you're like, man, I could really use this, that, or the other, and you can fast travel out and go kind of explore or just break up that. I felt like there were times where I wanted to just get out of the tree or somewhere else and go collect a couple things and explore a little bit and then go back to it. So I can't imagine it without fast travel.
Yeah. That's not an ability. That's when you have those save points that restore your health that you don't create. You can fast travel between those. Yeah, Mike, you're right. They weren't afraid to throw you to test you. It's like, here's an ability. Now you're going to learn how to use it, or you're going to die
really fast. Yeah, or you're going to die right now.
But yeah, fast travel. So here's another question. What we can still talk about the abilities, because I think we should. But did you have to look anything up?
Yes, I totally cheated on a few of the, again, dungeons. The where I just got totally stuck, or I was like, what the heck am I supposed to do? Because it's like I know the mechanics now, and it just didn't make sense. I think certain parts.
Yeah, I looked up something once, and I was ashamed that I did it, and I don't remember where exactly I was trying to go, but I could have sworn that I explored all the map, and I was like, I saw on the map this glowy circle was like, you're supposed to get to here, and I could not. I
Find it.
couldn't figure out, and it gave me an opportunity to find some energy cells and some life cells, and
there you go.
I was exploring, but I was getting so frustrated. I was like, Christy was there with me, and I was like, where do I go?
So admittedly, one of the biggest Metroidvania games is Super Metroid on Super Nintendo. I've never finished that game because I totally got stuck. And I was like, screw this. I'm not even going to play it.
Super good game.
I do want to talk when we wrap up. I want to talk about people's favorite Metroidvanias. So we will kind of hit on that towards the end of the discussion.
Michael was tempted to look something up for that final. Yeah, that one part was not super clear.
It wasn't clear. You're right. And it was the air draft to the side skirt and up.
Mike's doing this with his controller. Yeah, you had to use it a lot. You had to bounce between things, or you're going to fall on the spikes and have to wait for a slow death.
And kind of a little bit to Mike's point, this is not a game I would want to leave for an extended period of time, because there's so much finesse with the control. And Adam, and you and I talked about this offline. I left it for a couple days, and I did have to kind of get reacquainted, but I wouldn't want to leave it for a week or more, especially the further you get into the game.
Yeah,
with some of those action sequences, it's pretty tough.
Yeah, Vicky, there was an area that was added. It was like the oh gosh, what's the name of it? I think it had the word black in it, but I'm not sure. But it was the area that I think was like completely dark until you found the things.
The shrouded forest area.
Maybe I think don't quote me on that. I don't know, but
the music was really good in that area. But I do not like shrouded dark things.
Me too, Dan. Me too. Emoto had to look some stuff up.
One time in
yeah, the ghost fox was carrying a glowing orb of the same color. There were times when you're holding so there were times where you also had to carry the glowy light to a place, and that severely limited your abilities.
Yes.
Those sections were a bit frustrating.
That was the what level was that? That was like the futuristic, the Goro like temple, right? It was like their home. Am I making that up? Where you're having to carry the orb because it. Oh no, that's in the Shrouded Forest too. You've got the orb. You're carrying that.
Yeah, so
that was annoying.
Your abilities are hindered, but other abilities that were handy for me, at least once I realized how to use them, were the wall jump charge, the charge jump off the wall. It took me forever to longer than I would like to admit to like get the hang of that.
Yeah.
Because I also like halfway throughout the game forgot that you could just hold onto a wall by holding the trigger down. And so like the first time I tried to use the charge jump thing, I'm like, bouncing off a wall trying to stay on it because I forgot that you could just hold on to it. Yeah. So I'm like bouncing off of it and I'm like, how are you supposed to do this thing? I figured it out eventually and felt real stupid. But yeah, that was a helpful ability. The dash, I wish you had unlocked it. Probably would have made your life easier.
I don't even know where it is. I kind of wanted to go and find it just to say I got it, but I felt really dumb because I did charge up. I leveled up the air dash and I did some other stuff like that and never dashed.
Now, Mike, got to congratulate you. Did anybody else 100% this game? I did not. I got 83% of the way through.
I think I was 81.
And here's the thing that in my experience is that I didn't feel compelled to 100% it. Like I don't feel like the things that you could unlock and the things that you could find in the secret areas or the nooks and crannies were worth it. It's like, you can find energy cells and life cells to upgrade your skill tree, but once you've beaten the game, like what's the point?
That's true. And I didn't have anywhere near the amount of energy or life, but I died so much and there's so many, like, I'll say a cheap death, but I mean a death where it doesn't matter how many times you get hit, you're going to die anyway. So it's like, it didn't matter if I had one thing of health or 10 of them in certain areas, right? So I agree. I did not feel compelled to go back. There wasn't enough difference. I may have a problem. So that kind of brings up one of my flaws with this game. I don't have a lot of flaws because I will say I haven't played a ton of Metroidvania games. I've played some of the heavies. But I think this one does platforming extremely well, maybe the best of the lot. But I think the combat is one of the weakest parts of this game. It's so story heavy. So I kind of want to know, what did you guys think of the combat? Because to me, it's a button masher. There's no, besides charging up the bomb and just sitting there and pounding, is X for me.
Yeah.
There wasn't really anything compelling about it. And I get it. That's not Ori's character, but at the same time, I'm glad the platforming was so good, because if the platforming hadn't been good, you could almost argue that you don't even need to really level up your attack that much. I mean, you'd have to get certain things, but
I liked there wasn't much to the combat until you unlock the ability. Now the combat where you freeze the item or freeze the bullet and try to shoot it back at him, that's cool. That was cool. But the main weapon of just shooting out things and like if you're in proximity to them, you'll hit them. And I didn't upgrade it. It was pretty weak by the end of the game for me. Once I unlocked the ability to hit multiple things at one time, that was pretty awesome, especially with the big guys that like split off into little things. I was like, this is like 4th of July. But yeah, I would say the same about the combat, and that now there were certain like the freezing the thing and then shooting it back. That was my favorite aspect of the combat.
Yeah, I agree. That was cool, but it's just like your general ho-hum humdrum stuff. because you could get to a point in this game where with that ability, you can even navigate your way through the entire thing and not even fight anybody for the most part. I mean, unless certain guys require you to fight them.
Michael agrees. Combat was lame. Combat was semi-lame.
Semi-lame.
Refreshing.
That's true.
Hey, David.
Hey, David. Thanks for hopping in.
Yeah, it definitely got better. Mike liked the ability to be creative, and that's what I liked about it, especially with the thing where you could shoot their bullets back at them and things like that.
Kill each other.
Like you could take the owl, the little owls or the birds, and you could shoot them into the spikes and they would die instead of hitting them with your firework thing.
Are those frog guys? I always like to throw the frog guys into spikes.
Yeah, that brings me to Dan's question that I put up a little earlier. Which creatures did everyone hate the most? Those jumping frog monkey guys. I hated the most I guess it was the lava ones, but the things that like cling to the ceilings and the walls that you hit and they shoot out like those lava things, and you have to like dodge them or wait for them to like
shoot like 3 little projectiles out.
Yeah, and they like and they stick to the ground and you can't stand on them or until they explode. And the reason I hated them was because towards the end of the game, it puts you in places where like you're on this tiny little thing and there's above you and you hit it, and of course it's raining down on the thing. Where you're supposed to go? The spikes. Yeah. Well, now I'm just waiting for myself to die again.
I think the monkey frog guys, especially at the beginning, I really hated them.
Yeah.
There's not a lot. I mean, that's another potential gripe that you could say. The eel-like things. Oh, the things that it's like the little mini boss, Dan, that fly up out of the ground and spin around and go down. I think that maybe because there's those ones that come out and spit things at you, but then this other guy like lives in the ground and jumps up.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of variety in the enemies either, but I get it. It fits the game, I think.
Yeah, I mean I didn't have too much problem with enemies, except for those frustrating ones that you had to keep your distance to defeat and also watch where you step, and like it was just
the lava, the Mount Horu or whatever, that was a little bit frustrating.
Yeah, sometimes eventually I got to a point where like I was like, if these guys are around, it means I have to use that ability to get somewhere. And there was that.
Yeah,
I have to use the ability to grab onto their spit and like propel myself somewhere.
up.
And there was that part at the end in the lava place, and I'm talking about this because it's what more recent in my memory. But like you had those like fire shooters, those round like fire shooter things that would just shoot things at you, and like you're basically getting around almost the whole place by using their bullets, which was but
yeah, there was some intense. I got some good footage of that one, but yeah, it was cool though. There was definitely some intense.
Yeah, this. Good God, look at you going! Look at you with your safe.
I was like, oh, a secret.
Yeah, and then you get to the map thing. You don't have a map thing.
I know. That happened to me a couple times. Right there. I didn't know where it was.
Is there beeping?
Is there beeping?
Do you hear beeping?
I don't hear beeping. Do y'all hear beeping?
I don't hear it. I hear like a high pitched thing, and it just sounds like ambient noise. But yeah, the map things. This happened to me at the end. Towards the end, I found a map thing, a map place, and I had a map stone. I was like, yes, I'm going to unlock a map place. So I put the stone in the thing, and it just unlocked a place I had already been.
What?
I had already unlocked the map.
So I have a similar one. The the little fragments that you get to unlock the door.
Yeah.
It'd be like chung 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 chung, and the door would open. I had 4 of those left over when I beat the game. I don't know where that door is. It's like, I have no idea.
So there were also those doors that you had to unlock with energy cells.
Yeah, I got a couple of those.
Did the game kind of give up on those?
Yeah, there were some things with the map that I did feel like they were like, oh, that's a cool idea, and they implemented it 2 or 3 times, and then it just was like, okay.
Oh, Michael's Bluetooth speaker dying.
Oh,
but yeah, unlocking that map thing was like the most disappointing thing. Like I'd already been there.
yeah, that sucks. And there were ones I picked up the orb or whatever you put into the map key, and never found. But again, I think this game, because it's so story driven and there's not a lot of point to go back to it, I didn't really feel compelled to even find it, and that's I guess unless you really want to master this game. I don't
like Mike did.
Like Mike did, which Mike, I don't know if you ever have any replayability here other than like getting to I beat Ori and the Blind Forest without dying.
Oof.
Ooh.
I wouldn't. That's not even worth my time.
No,
because again, there are some times that you get like punished unfairly, and for me, again, I'll say this again. I wish the spikes just killed you like instantly, and I never say that because most of the time I feel like there's a way. I could have just escaped, but in these, sometimes the spikes were just like I just had to sit there and wait for myself to die. And then you try to make a save point somewhere, and it's like, you can't do that. It's not safe.
It's not safe, but it's like whatever. I just did it back there, and the guy was right next to me, and you let me do it. So there were a few inconsistencies like that.
Mount Doom.
I kind of agree with you, Mike. Like I kind of expected a little bit more because the game kind of shows its formula, right? You're exploring, you get to unlock this temple, dungeon, whatever, and then you go through it with your new ability, and then you have to escape. And I didn't think it was going to be that quick to end.
Yeah. Now there is a sequel.
There is a sequel, Ori and the what's it called?
The Will of the Wisps.
Will of the Wisps. I think that came out somewhat recently, right?
Yeah, and so does anybody else would anybody else here play the sequel?
I would play the sequel.
Would I? I don't know. I think I'd have to be convinced to play the sequel. Not again. I didn't hate Ori and the Blind Forest. I loved it. I enjoyed it for what it was, and it was a treat. But if it is just kind of more of the same, I don't know if I'm into it.
Yeah, I think I would definitely need to do a little bit of research on a review. Mike can play the sequel and tell us if it's worth it.
Oh, it is? Well, then I might, I got to make Game Pass worth
Game Pass. I'm really thinking about, because I was a long time PC non-gamer, and now PC gaming is so much easier than it was 10, 20 years ago. I may have to bite the bullet and get that Game Pass.
It's nice.
Just for streaming stuff, too.
David will play it if it ever comes out on the Switch.
There you go. David's a Switch fan.
Gotta love the Switch. It's like
I love the Switch.
So convenient.
It is.
Mike's in. He's up for the challenge.
Do it, Mike. Let us know.
But if it's on Game Pass, I could just download it.
If you wanna stream it, let us know.
But yeah, I need to know that it's not more of the same, because I feel like I got my fill of Ori and the Blind Forest and the world. And look, can we talk about the story? Because I said earlier that it was a bit nonsensical. You said it was somewhat story driven.
Somewhat.
Dose sequel got books to read. So this is like the trilogy version of like the literally wasted. We read is trilogies. We're just gonna play games with sequels. But the story of Ori and the Blind Forest. So it's gonna take me a minute to sort of wrap my head around this, but there was once a tree of light, and the light went out, and because the bird, they killed the bird's baby, and with that, Ori got scattered and was raised by this creature being that looks like a Miyazaki film. That things got worse and worse. That creature ended up dying because they weren't able to eat and stuff.
Okay,
So
wait. So someone asked, I think, and I don't know if I was talking to someone outside of the discussion, but so the beginning sequence is pretty captivating. But did you get Pixar at this moment, Adam? I just
I definitely did. Yeah, this was super sad.
This was heart-wrenchingly sad. I was like, this game sucks, but I love it. And
yeah, this I knew it was going to happen, but it was still very, very sad. But so they die. That thing dies. I don't know names. But it dies, and Ori sets out to restore the owl family too. Yeah, it really made you sympathize for the bad guy.
They did a good job tying the owl, some sympathy for the owl. I'll give it that.
Yeah, tears right off the bat. It just did like an up thing, but yeah. So Ori has to, in order to restore the life to the forest, has to re-energize the three things. Man, I'm butchering this.
Yeah, I think I've got some footage that helps.
And then every once in a while, the tells you like what's going on.
Yeah, the father tree.
Yeah, no, I got it. I was like, I think what it meant, what it signified to me was that I've reached a milestone moment, or I've reached a new.
Yeah, it's I've
made progress. All right, rewind that, Lucas. I can put it up on the screen.
Okay.
So we can get a sense of what's going on here. So thank you. You got an achievement there.
Did I? Oh, sweet. Spirit tree.
Saved Ori. And so you basically have to, find the three things and reignite the light. But this, so was it what? Where was Ori during this?
That's what I guess. I was a little confused, and it was a little vague, but I just went with it. I was like, "This is pretty, and it sounds nice."
Yeah, it's true. I wasn't trying to think too hard about it, but it was the story. Except for like the moments at the beginning and like tying the owls, giving me some sympathy for the big bird. It just was kind of nonsense to me.
Yeah.
Like anytime that thing would come up and be like, Jabba the Hutt in slow motion.
Yeah.
I just kind of like checked out for a second, and like Dan said, sort of sigh of relief. But it did remind me of like a Miyazaki film story in that it had, it was a bit nonsensical, but it was like mystical and sort of
Kuro the owl.
Still sane.
Sane.
Scene.
Yeah.
Taking shots at Lost there. But yeah.
It was good enough though.
It was fine, and it fit the tone of the whole game. The game had no instances that were tonally inconsistent, and even when the story came up and didn't make much sense to me, I was like, "This is on brand." For what I'm experiencing, and it's more about just sort of the beauty and the whoever did the music, top notch.
Music was top notch. The graphics were beautiful. Like, I mean, they
It's
did.
like a painting. Like you're just like making
Yeah.
your way through a painting with
I,
vibrant, vivid colors.
I can't really knock the art direction.
Kingdom Hearts doesn't know what it's doing. It doesn't even know how to
I
name its own games.
I
It's
couldn't
like
even.
this is Kingdom Hearts 3.2 and a half over 7. The
I
Dream
tried to play
Drop.
the first one and I could not get through it.
Yeah, I tried to play the first. Christy loves Kingdom Hearts. I got her the full collection
Anthology or whatever.
for the PS4, but yeah, they don't even know what they're doing with the names. But you know, comparing like a story like this to a story like Wander Song, you know, Wander Song was basically all story. I mean, it had like its gameplay elements, but the gameplay was just, you know,
it was gameplay light.
There were no stakes. There was just like things to do while you experienced the story, which you know, but comparing the story to this and the story to Wander Song, I enjoyed, like, Wander Song made me feel more. Mm-hmm. And I guess that's, you know, a testament to the deeper, more frequent storytelling. But
I agree with that.
This game is a pure game in a sense of that you're, you know, it's platforming, it's Metroidvania. Now I haven't played. I started Hollow Knight. David was saying that the music reminds him of Hollow Knight. I started it, but I had a very frustrating moment early on and then stopped. So I need to go back.
I've heard it's really good. Metal Gear Solid 2.
All the Metal Gear. We're talking about story, like nonsensical stories.
Oh yeah, yeah. I cannot do Kojima games.
Metal Gear Solid 1 is great. Metal Gear Solid 2 is good, but like.
Yeah, I played Metal Gear Solid 1 and I liked it, but yeah, I can't. No.
Yeah, so we did the thing. According to Dan, we set our bar too high with storytelling.
That's right. That's right. We need to really lower the bar. I want to know, Dan, is Wesley still really into Wander Song? You were talking so much about how impactful that game was on your son, and that was really, you sent us a really cool message, and we appreciate that. But I want to know, is he still really into that? Because you said he was hardcore Pokemon, and getting him to play Wander Song really focused him on something else, and you were kind of appreciative of that.
Yeah, I didn't have any direction with Hollow Knight, but yeah, Wander Song. I'm still into Wander Song. I still like have a deep connection to those people, those characters.
Oh yeah,
they were like little paper cutout people. But yeah, we can play a game with no story. We'll do like Super Mario. There's like zero story.
Some story.
There's like barely story. But yeah, if we're lowering the story and art, next month should be Papers, or Loving, I guess is what that's supposed to be.
Yes, Papers, Please. So I haven't looked at our numbers.
Celeste is winning right now in the poll.
You still have a chance. I think everyone in the discussion right now has voted, but if you have not voted, which I haven't voted, Adam.
I haven't either. I have not voted.
I don't
want to be influential here, but back to Ori and the Blind Forest. While we're still talking about that, so we talked about the story, and you know, it had its moments, but once you got over the sort of the heartbreak of having the parent die,
mm-hmm.
It wasn't very impactful, and it was sort of told in these, like, you know, on-screen things. But so should we go back to sort of the gameplay mechanics? Were there, Lucas, have you said what your favorite thing about the game was?
I don't know if I had one favorite thing. It was a good change of pace for me. I think overall, the platforming was my favorite thing. It was frustrating, but when you really got it, you felt like you really owned it. Like by the end of it, the areas that I struggled with early on, I was like, I got this. I'm a master. Watch me do this and flip here and shoot up and then glide. And so I think the platforming is this, outside of the art direction and the music direction, is a real strong suit. But then you have to weigh that with the lack of combat, and that's where, if I had to put it up against the Metroidvania games that I have played, I'd rank it really high just because it is beautiful and the platforming is so good. But for me, my favorite of that genre is still Symphony of the Night, because I think you still get a lot of the platforming, but there's so much more depth in the atmosphere, the characters, the equipment, and it just feels more like a much deeper game, where this is kind of an experience that it's great because I experienced the whole game in just over 9 hours. I think I was right at 9 hours. And that was great. Like, it was a good little distraction, but I don't think there's a lot to bring me back to it. But I think platforming for me is kind of the winner.
Yeah.
What about you?
My favorite thing?
Yeah.
I would have to say the art direction. I mean, the platform was solid. It felt good, I guess. The game felt good to play for most of the time. But I would have to say, like, the art and the music. And the thing about, like, this is a Metroidvania, and where I would rank it as a Metroidvania. First of all, I don't have a lot of experience with Metroidvanias, but I imagine the exploration is a big part of them.
Mm-hmm.
And this game, so there are two things. This game, first of all, didn't really compel me to explore very much. Like, if I found a secret area, it was cool.
Yeah.
But it like sort of trained me that more often than not, if I saw a secret area, I wasn't going to be able to get to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you would see on the map, there's a thing, or you would see, like, oh, here's a place I can go, but there would be something blocking your path, and you couldn't get through it. And I just learned that, like, I'm just not going to be able to do that. Like, it sort of ingrained in me, like, oh, there's a thing.
And I will say this about this game in particular, is it doesn't give you much of a reason to go back to certain areas. In other games in this genre, you're almost forced in some degree to go back to certain areas, and they're like, oh, I can get that, and you're already there, and it makes it a little bit more convenient. There's not a lot of reason to go back to some of these areas within this game.
Yeah. And so, like, as a Metroidvania, first of all, the combat it was all right. You could be a little creative with it, but not compared to, like, other, I've never played Symphony of the Night, which is my bad. I should play it. But like, part of it is feeling a lot more powerful with the weaponry, and, like, discovering new weapons and tricks and things you can do, especially with, like, Super Metroid, and, like, ways you can attack things. So that wasn't really there. And then the exploration. So I'm this type of gamer where, like, if I get to a place that could theoretically be a stopping point, unless I'm, like, super into it, I'm gonna stop at that point and, like, do something else. Like, I don't like my attention. I'm not like Christy, who, if you know how Christy plays games, once she gets into a game, she is going to play that game until she is done, and I may not see her for a while. But I need a lot to, like, push me to keep going. So there were times in this game where I would reach, like, a save point, or I would hit a story beat or something like that, and I'd be like, I can call it for now, and I would have to kind of force myself to keep going. It wasn't that hard to do. There were certainly some times where I would just keep playing, for stretches, but more often than not, I would hit a stopping point and I would say, I can be good here, but since I need to finish the game, I'll keep going. And it was compelling to be a part of the world. It was certainly, like, immersive and beautiful, but I don't feel like, even with the new abilities that you got, there was much of a difference in how you played the game from, sort of a quarter of the way in to, like, 3/4 of the way in. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You're still doing a lot of the same stuff, just in different places. And
let me put it in. I think, let me sum up what I'm hearing from you in a different way. if I were to go back 20 years, this would be a fantastic weekend rental at Blockbuster. Right? Like, I would have gotten the game, I would have been able to finish it within my rental period, I would have had fun, I would have beaten it, and I would have returned it and been like, that was a cool game. I had a good weekend playing that. I did buy a physical copy just because I buy physical copies, but I'm glad I spent $10 on it, and I think it's a perfect Game Pass game because it's like you want to experience it, but you don't want to drop a lot of coin on it. But you're probably going to enjoy your experience. But it's for me. If I had to sum that up, it's like this would have been a perfect game, in a different period of our lives with rentals. It's like great rental game. Like you can play it during the weekend and actually finish it and not have to like feel bad that you didn't beat it during your period because someone else is going to rent it and wipe your save or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's the perfect Game Pass game. If I'm subscribing to the service, I can download it and play it. And cool. I played it, made my way through it. Is it going to rank up there with like, am I gonna look back on this and be like, man, that was a classic? I don't know. Probably not. But it was a good game. It's a
good game.
Well made. Didn't have any technical glitches. I didn't have any like freezing or anything. Other people were talking about it having that. They had the definitive edition, which added like an area, and I didn't know better. But it was a fine game. And
it's a fine game.
It was a fine game. I'm glad that I played it. So if I were to review this, if we were to now give review scores to Ori and the Blind Forest, we were just let's get this out of the way. Visuals and sound, 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Like I don't need like fancy realistic 3D graphics to feel like this game is graphically worth it. I don't need like does it run Crysis kind of stuff, but like 10 out of 10, beautiful, immersive, tonally consistent. The music was I could listen to the soundtrack.
This beautiful soundtrack
of this game. 10 out of 10. Gameplay, the platforming was good. There were some cheap stuff that I thought was cheap, but it was a solid platformer. The jumping, the walking and jumping aspects of it were pretty good. Didn't feel too floaty or hard to control. If something happened, there were more often than I could say like that was my bad.
Yeah.
So it wasn't cheap in that way, and then I felt the game was unfairly punishing me, except when it just made me watch myself die. But that some of that brings me to some of like the design of some of the areas where sometimes it was difficult to figure out what to do.
Yeah.
And there's a difference between like, oh, I can figure this out and then do it, and I feel good that I have accomplished this, and like this is just stupid. Just let me get past this.
Right.
So gameplay, combat, we talked about combat. Not the greatest because it was sort of, if you're in the area, just mash a button. But you did have that extra ability to either like, blow up a grenade or throw a grenade at them, which I barely used the grenades, by the way. You remember the grenades? Did you even unlock the grenades?
No. No, I didn't even get it. I missed the last two abilities, so I got the charge thing where you can like explode things, but no, I never even got the grenades.
I just remembered about the grenade. Like you could throw basically a grenade and it would explode.
Oh, okay.
There were offensive weapons, but I barely used them.
Yeah.
I barely used the charge thing to kill people. It was all just mashing that button to shoot the fireworks out and then using the Y thing to freeze bullets. So maybe it's on me that I didn't explore the richness of the combat.
I don't think so, because again, I didn't even know about that. I knew that I missed two of the abilities, and again, I really wish dash would have been really early in those abilities. But if I were gonna put a number with gameplay, I'd say it's an 8, and what really drags that down is the combat for me.
What? Interesting.
Was that high?
What?
What?
Uh,
Are you talking about Michael? Were you
Michael's
talking?
comment. No, I was talking
Oh,
about Michael's comment. You could use the grenades to jump. Yeah, no, I would agree with you. Gameplay, I would give it like an 8.5. I'm
yeah,
not going to ding it for
8.5.
the combat because, there were things I could do, but I didn't feel like the upgrades were worth it necessarily.
I agree.
Like eventually I got to the point where it was like, these are like, I would just pick something in the skill tree and not because I felt like this is something I need. I was just picking it. I was like, I guess this. And it didn't feel like, oh no, it's not like in
I missed it. Yeah,
other games where it's like, oh, I missed it, or like this is such a hard decision because they were also sort of negligible after a while.
agree.
But yeah, so yeah, I give it an 8.5. What other replayability?
Yeah, fun. If you look at the old Game Pro, do you remember Game Pro magazine? And
Yeah,
their reviews were sound, graphics, gameplay, and fun factor. And they used this animated guy who was like, he'd be like sleepy, and he'd be like, okay, and then he'd be like, wah. So I would say fun factor. It's probably like a 8.5 or 9 for me. Like I really enjoyed it. I'm glad. I think it was the perfect length for me. Any longer, and I probably would have been like, okay.
Oh yeah, length was. Yeah, I agree with you. Any longer than, and it would have been just sort of a slog. But yeah. Replayability not high for me. Maybe people want to go back and get some achievements they didn't get, like the one death run or something. No death run.
I'll help you if you need something better to do. I can find a lot of.
Yeah, we got another game coming next month. But yeah, so not high replayability, but not all games need to have that.
No,
I don't want to hurt the game because you can't replay it. You get a good 7, 8 to 9, 10 hours out of it, and that's all you need.
that's all. Yeah, it was a good experience.
You don't need to have 350 hours in a game for it to be worth something.
No.
What are other criteria that we should review this?
I don't know. Y'all chime in if we're missing anything major. I can't think of anything like
overall.
Overall, I'd give it a solid 9. Like I think it definitely has the chops to be rated up there. But again, it's a great, like, you play it once and you had the great experience, and you can recommend it to somebody as that, and you kind of move on to another experience.
Yeah, I give it like an 8.5.
Yeah,
Not a bad score, but not like, perfection.
Yeah, I think 8.5 is a good middle ground for it, just because of the production value is so high.
Yeah.
If the production value weren't where it was with the music and the sound.
Now, this is an indie game, right?
It's Microsoft Studios, so I think they had something for it.
Is that like the Fox Searchlight of Microsoft?
Yes, probably.
Streamability, yeah, that's a good. Is this a streamable game? But here's the thing: I don't know what streamable is. You've seen us try to stream things like Slay the Spire and Deep Rock Galactic. We don't know what people want to watch.
Tell her what you sent me today, Adam.
Do you think it's streamable? You watched the whole playthrough, though, didn't you, Vicky? But yeah, I sent Lucas this video today. We were looking to see what are people streaming on Facebook? What's the game streaming? And there was literally PUBG Mobile, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds mobile. So somebody had a camera pointed at an iPad, and they were just doing the on-camera controls with their hands and not talking, just playing the game. And there were like 5,000 people watching it.
So Adam sent it to me. He's like, "There's 5,000 people watching this," and I was like, "Holy God!" So I tuned in. The person playing it had been playing for 3 hours and 42 minutes when I jumped in, and there were 4,200 people playing. So it's like, the heck if I know. We're just
exactly, Mike. Exactly. So is it streamable? Maybe. I don't know what's streamable. I don't know what's
streamable either.
But do you think it is? Yeah, it depends. If you gauge chat, sure. If you expect people to just watch game, not as much. Yeah, I would. Yeah. I don't know if I could just like
I to
play
me,
a game for people.
yeah, to me, this one's more of a, and that's a question. We've talked about this. Would you guys want us to stream the game of the month to kind of get a taste for it before you start playing it? We've kind of erred on not doing it as to not spoil the experience, because I think for some of the games that we've chosen, especially this one, you could just go watch a YouTube run and just be like, okay, I want to watch that, and here's part 1 through 20 or whatever it is, and you could just watch that at your leisure.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a lot of engagement you have to do.
I would say, for me, like streaming is a way for, when I stream games, it's a way for me to like share an experience with people. And yeah, like y'all aren't playing it, but it's, I like, even with me and Chrissy just sitting on the couch. Like, I love it when she's there to like watch it, because I can talk to her about it and she can look at it and she can be like, oh, that was cool. And she likes to watch when I play games and stuff. There are certain games that, I asked her like, would you play Wander Song? And she was like, no, I don't think I would play it, but I really enjoyed watching you play it.
Talia's the same way. She will not game, and it's been a while since she's watched me play a game, but she really enjoyed me playing BioShock a long time ago when I played that. She watched me play Mass Effect. So I mean, she did watch a lot of stuff and enjoy it, but she's not a gamer like that. She would not.
But
yeah, I don't know what works.
Playing the opening of the monthly game. Yeah, we could do that. We could play like the beginning.
I think that's good.
Yeah, we could do that.
We could do that. So I guess, Adam, we're coming up on our ending here, and I believe we said we would announce it. I'm going to refresh my page, but I think we all know
what's it going to be.
The winner, and our game for August is Celeste. We're going to call it.
So we're calling it.
So Celeste, go get Celeste. One of our game club members, James, this is his legit favorite game of all time. Favorite game of all time. So,
are we back?
Oh, yeah.
Hello.
Hi.
That was weird. Did y'all see that?
Did I stop?
No, I don't know. It must have been me.
You'll let me know if I didn't stop, because Adam, I thought when I said favorite game of all time, you went like this. I was like, wow, he's really shocked. But yes, the winner. So in August, join us for Celeste. That date is, I don't have it right in front of me, is Tuesday, August 25th. You're back.
Okay. That was weird.
That was weird.
Look at that. Put a banner on the screen. Celeste's August game. But yeah, I froze up. My connection was bad apparently for a second there. But so I got Celeste on that bundle for social justice or social equality or whatever it was. It was, you could pay like $5 and get like over 1,000 games. And Celeste was it's a very unfortunate free stream. Yikes. Celeste was in that bundle, so I'll be playing it on the PC, even though I know it's on the Switch, and I would probably rather play it on the Switch, just because. So here's the thing about Celeste. Celeste, if I remember correctly, and I can look this up, Celeste got a 10 out of 10 on IGN, right?
You were correct. You're correct.
Like, IGN loved this game, and I think Kotaku loved the game, and I think Tim Rogers did a video and like just gushed about it, as he tends to do, but he's not with Kotaku anymore. Yeah, Vicky, you already own it if you bought that bundle.
Yeah, I have it on Switch. I actually bought it at James's recommendation months ago, so I will be playing on Switch. I started it, but I didn't get far. But I'll say this. It is fantastic platforming. I think it's a little bit
It's pure platforming.
It's pure platform, but I mean, it's definitely cool. You will die Like I'm just gonna. It's the I don't know how it's gonna compare with this difficulty wise with the platforming.
Well, it's not a Metroidvania, right? They're levels.
There are levels, and you like per screen. It's like you're trying to get through the screens, and so besides certain moments that are more. I don't want to give away anything, but for the most part, if you die on a screen, you respawn on that screen. So there's not a lot of.
It's like Super Meat Boy.
Yes, it's a lot like Super Meat Boy, which I haven't played a lot of, but I know the mechanics of it.
So it's like, but I did hear that the story is surprisingly captivating.
Yes, I have heard that also, and I know the music is fantastic.
So we got another platformer for August, but a different style of platformer.
Yes.
That makes it sort of 3 platformers in a row. One of these days we'll pick an RPG or.
And guys, y'all, please go if you're watching this on whatever channel. Join the Geek Word Game Club on Facebook. We have a game suggestion thread there, so chime in there. If there's Adam and I looked at that, when we came up with this month's recommendations. Let us know. I mean, we've talked about going a generation back. There's a lot of people that haven't played BioShock and maybe some of the Assassin's Creed games. Let us know what you want to play, because we have been skewing a little bit more indie, but that's not to say we can't try some of these more AAA titles, but we also want people to have a lot of accessibility to the games.
Yeah. So Celeste is available on pretty much every platform, I think, right?
And relatively inexpensive as well. Yes.
Yeah, and it'll challenge you. From what I hear, it's difficult, and if you want to get crazy and do the B and C sides, good luck to you. From what I hear, I've never even touched the game. I don't even know anything about it. But.
Collect strawberries. They're just kind of a collectible, but it's more of like a bragging right thing. That's like, ooh, I got this many strawberries.
So the game probably does keep track of your progress and like how much you've completed, right? Like how many strawberries you've gotten and all.
Yes.
Does it?
Yes.
So I think it would be good, once we get.
Do we have a strawberry contest?
I think we should have a contest. Maybe we could have like a giveaway or something.
I have a ton
to the winner.
Ooh, I could give away like a whole Nintendo. How cool would that be?
Whoa.
Yeah. Or something. I have so many video games. I could just be like, oh, cool, I'll give that away to somebody.
Assassin's Creed is boring. It's a walking simulator, isn't it, Mike? Like Death Stranding.
Yeah, I agree, Mike. That was a bad example, but I was thinking particularly of Black Flag, which is a little bit better from the ones I have.
Or like if you wanted to do something more story driven, like a Telltale game, like a Walking Dead or a Batman or something. Back to the Future.
Walking Dead is fantastic. I did play the first season of Walking Dead. I would love to play. Oh my god, I love point and click adventure games, and they've remade Day of the Tentacle, they've remade Grim Fandango, all these LucasArts games from the 90s that are masterpieces of storytelling. There's not a lot to discuss other than the story and the graphics, but they're so good. I would love to play a point and click. And we've also talked about doing thematic months too, so y'all let us know. Like, this is your club too. And
even if you wanted to play like Lego Batman or something,
heck yeah,
we'll play that.
I play that.
Lego games are super fun, even though they're very formulaic.
And if there's multiplayer games that y'all want to play, like, let us know, because we've started doing Deep Rock Galactic. We had a stream last night with Emoto and Michael, and that was a ton of fun. Loom. That is a fantastic LucasArts point-and-click game that I've actually never finished, Emoto.
I got to do Space Quest 4.
I started playing that the other day, Adam. I was thinking about streaming it.
I love Space Quest.
Yeah? Would y'all watch? See, I don't know. I don't know if people would want to watch point.
I would watch you play Space Quest 4. I want to play. I have it somewhere, but I got the full Space Quest collection somewhere.
Yeah.
But Space Quest was my jam. I loved it so much. Roger Wilco,
yeah, and the Time Rippers. That the only thing, not to veer off course, I know we're over, but I preferred LucasArts games because there was never a penalty, like in the Mike's what's that, Rocket League. In the Sierra point and click games, you had points which were kind of arbitrary. But then
they were very arbitrary.
You also had dead ends, and you could die. And I did not like getting penalized when I was just adventuring and living in this world. So anyway,
I loved. Oh my gosh!
I'll stream that. I literally pulled it up the other night. I was like, and oh god, World of Warcraft, Michael.
I can still conjure up the mall music from Space Quest 4. You know, where you have to like do the skating rink in the middle and like. Oh gosh, Space Quest 4 is so good. Space Quest 6, some people like didn't like Space Quest 6. I love Space Quest 6.
Space Quest 6 was the Spinal Frontier.
Frontier. Yeah, Captain Kilbasa on the SS Deep Ship 86. Gosh, I love that game.
I would love to stream point and click games.
Yeah, we should definitely do that.
Okay.
If you want me to play Space Quest 6, I will. But
I'll watch you play Space Quest 6.
So we do have a Geek Word raid.
Yeah.
But let us know what you want to play. We have a thread for that in the game club, right? In the Facebook group.
Yes,
let us know if there's
in the Facebook group we have a game suggestion thread. We also have a thread for you to share any kind of friend codes, gamer tags, Steam names, if you want to connect with any of the other club members.
Yeah, and let us know if you like to watch people play games. Let us know what you want to watch us play, and sometimes we'll invite you to play with us, like we had people play with us.
Yeah, that was a ton of fun. We had all four people up on camera, and
so Mike,
if
you want to play Rocket League on the stream, you just let me know, and I'm sure we could get Jeff Moore in there too, and because I played with Jeff the other day, he's not bad. We won some games.
I am horrible, so if you want me to in for comedic timing, and I'm more than happy to jump in for that. But we're also trying to define a schedule, so we're working on that to kind of standardize. The game club is our like a pillar of the Geek Word content, but we also obviously have our book club that we have to consider, but that's only twice a month, maybe 3 times if we have an author interview. But we're trying to come up with like a weekly schedule, and we would love to define that kind of around what you guys would like to see or hang out with us and do.
Yeah, and I think what we'll start with is certain days. We'll say we'll be streaming this day, and this day at this time. Days and times would be the first thing for us to nail down, and then sort of content-wise, like I did Slay the Spire Sundays. I don't know if people want to watch that, but I sure like to play that game, and I think like if y'all want to watch me, get better at that game, that's what that could be. But Christy and I played Tetris Attack against each other. We could do
people like that.
Yeah, so I'll bring Christy back, and you can watch her destroy me at stuff. 4:30 a.m. on Tuesdays, Michael. Are you talking about 4:30 a.m.?
Yeah, it's right before he goes in the morning.
Japan time.
Yeah, we could do Japan or Australia.
Yeah. It's almost August 2nd.
It's almost August 2nd. Yeah, if this is totally an aside, but if you're part of Literarily Wasted, the world's best online book club, go join it. And we have a live Q&A with award-winning author and New York Times bestseller V.E. Schwab. So Victoria has written some of the novels that we've read, including Vicious and A Darker Shade of Magic. She's got a new book coming out called The
Invisible Life of Addie LaRue.
Addie LaRue. I want to say Addie Laurie all the time, but yes. So we're going to be talking to her live and she's in Scotland. So how cool is that? That's
crazy.
Yeah, we've worked with her publicist to make that happen. So
yeah, we have our second live discussion for 100,000 Kingdoms tomorrow. Yeah, confuse her. It's fine. You can tell her that it's August 2nd, and she'll be like, "Who are these people? What's going on?" But yeah, so that's it for Geek Word Game Club month number 2. Thanks all for playing the game with us, and it was really fun discussing it, getting y'all's takes on it. And Celeste will be an interesting, test of our friendships. Maybe he's like, "Why have we done this to ourselves?"
Yeah.
But if we can make it through, we can make it through strong, and we'll try to, once we get into August, we'll stream the first little bit of it. So you can
maybe in that first week we'll come up with a day and we'll make that something that first week. That could work.
So yeah, so that about does it. Thank you for watching and tuning in. If you're literally wasted, we'll see y'all tomorrow. And if not, we'll see you next time we stream. We stream on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. We are Geekward Games on Twitch. You just Geekward on Facebook and YouTube. And we'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for joining.
Bye.